I was coming back from Toronto. I'm sure as much as I said, I don't know what I'm getting into, the staff went, whoa, we don't know what we're getting into. And the board also probably had a few moments. I believe I had a conversation or two with Ken Cronson about that. Not quite sure if I was the right fit. But I quickly realized that I was surrounded by friends who were not at all shy about telling me what they liked, and as Debbie said, what they didn't like. And that was absolutely so helpful. That marked the beginning of a conversation that has lasted for over 13 years and has actually helped reshape the Rady JCC into the organization it is today. I have to tell you, one of the best conversations I had was a Friday afternoon. I had taken my daughter out to Eva's when it was right on its old location, and it was one of those moments, she was about 5 years old, we were eating, and a member came up and said, I have to tell you something. So I promised the staff, if I'm seen out over the next few years and somebody comes up to give me some good feedback, I will just take it for them. One thing that struck me shortly after assuming my role was the many positive memories that people had of the YMHA, including myself. And I thought back to Les Marks. And as most of you know, Sandy, who I call Sandy Marks still, where's Seth? Seth, I know you're here. Sandy Marks ran the camps at the Y when I was a camper and then a counselor at Camp Funland, which was my very first job. So I looked at Sandy. It must have taken me maybe 6 weeks and went, how do I know this person? I know Sandy works, but sure doesn't. I didn't realize she had married your uncle. So, and one day it went to me, Sandy Marks. But Les Marks really inspired me. Early on, I committed to ensuring that the Rady JCC created those kind of memories for children, teens, and families, but make it relevant for today. And so we started a few simple programs, things like Family Fun Zone. Threw out a bouncer, all of a sudden, 75 people started to show up. Jeff Lieberman, I don't know if Jeff is here, Jeff's not here. Jeff's told me about a program that they were doing at River Heights Community Center for tweens and teens, and everybody was reminiscing about the clubs, and we knew the days of the clubs had gone, but we wanted to create something that would be more relevant today, and that morphed into the tweens and teens programs, and we're still getting like 90 kids out when we host that. Then we started to do Shabbat dinners, and eventually we decided to earmark a couple significant things that would be open to the whole community at free of charge. And the one that really is closest to my heart is Yom HaAtzmaut. I grew up in a family with a strong commitment to Israel, and when I first walked through the doors, I hadn't quite started. I was about 20 pounds lighter than I am today, and I had with me this little baby, and we actually, Shelley Faintuck, I think, had organized, or no, Tamar, you had organized that one, it was the next one, and I saw Shelley there, and it was the first Yom HaAtzmaut, I don't know if you remember, and it was such a wonderful feeling, and I felt so glad to be back home. And through that, we worked to build a strong sense of community. I feel very fortunate that I was part of Israel's 70th anniversary celebration this year, and we welcomed almost 3,000 people, which was the largest we've ever had. We had the participation, I think, of pretty much every Jewish organization in the city, all working together for this one single celebration, and in that we exemplified what it meant to be a community. The JCC is an organization whose time in many ways has come. Sometimes you just have to be in the right place at the right time and realize what you have and make the most of it. It's been my job, in partnership with the board, the management, and the wonderful staff, to create a strong platform that allowed the JCC to respond to the changes in our community and the changes in the world that surrounds us. I hope that I and we have achieved that. And I think we have changed. Summers, when I first came here, were extremely quiet on the campus. It felt like when June finished, there was just this but now that's no longer the case. Between camp, aquatics, and our childcare programs, the building is full of energy. We probably have, I would say, somewhere between 400 or 500 kids in the building during the day in the summer months. Youth programs were always a part of the JCC, but we had this sense that they had the potential. We looked at the kids and we said, we knew you've got it, and how can we support that more? Today, drop by on a Tuesday or Thursday evening, which I often do as a mom, and see the number of teams involved in the JCC. It is a revolving door. The kids are coming in for badminton and swimming, they're leaving, then the kids coming in for floor hockey. It's really quite an amazing thing to see, and in between that, there are kids playing hoops, etc. it's been really rewarding to see that. One of the things we really did was we wanted to invest in those structures we thought really made the most sense. And BBYO was one of them, and Jaren is gonna speak to that. And I know we have a few other BBYO and TAL members there in our youth programs. I had the good fortune of being at LTI this year, which is the Leadership Training Institute for BBYO that we hosted. And I gotta tell you, our future is strong. The kids in our community have a strong sense of purpose. They are growing up with a tremendous sense of community, and I am not at all worried about what the future holds. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing all the amazing stuff you guys do. Seniors are vital and active today, and they are involved in every aspect of the Rady JCC. We could not function without all the wonderful brain power and active creativity that our seniors bring to us. And of course, our cultural programs, which are second to none, continue to bring new innovative talent to our community, allow us to explore what it means to be part of the Jewish community in a global sense, but also part of the world community. And our scholarship programs, which we have enhanced, remain focused on one of our key missions, Tikkun Olam, and on making sure that all those who want to participate at the Rady JCC, regardless of who they are, can do so. Some of you may be familiar with the amazing program that our community has started to support the Yazidi families. Some of you, if you haven't, go on our website. There's a video there of one of the members of that community who actually started this, and she talks about simply walking across the threshold of the Rady JCC. Her mom had wanted to swim. She had been raised in a camp, a refugee camp, a Syrian refugee camp, and as she put it, she had been taught to have hate in her heart for the Jews. She was a good daughter and came with her mother, but she was very frightened and did not think that this was something that was even possible. And simply crossing that threshold and meeting our staff, who was the sports desk staff and the wonderful membership staff, and when they said, we're not Jewish, can we come in the building? And the security said yes, and then they came and they said, we're not Jewish, can we join? And they said, sure. And they became part of our JCC and our community by extension, and that started it all. And that's just one of the powers of the recreation sector that I feel very proud to have been part of. There are two programs in particular, and to the staff, I'm not playing favorites, but there are two programs that I think really exemplify and speak to the JC's commitment to the future. Our newcomer outreach program, which began a couple of years ago under the tremendous leadership of Debbie, continues to grow, influencing the way our community responds to those choosing to make Winnipeg their home. Last weekend, we had a wonderful Chanukah celebration in Transcona. We had about 120 people there, all young families celebrating, having an amazing time at Chanukah. It was really warmed my heart to see that. And we really put an emphasis on childcare. Those of you who know me know that when I moved here, I had a 2.5-year-old, and I could not find daycare. And so I knew I also had to meet all the different organizations. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna start with Olive Vet Daycare, because maybe they'll like me and they'll take pity on my situation. And in that meeting, the president at the time, Ilana Schultz, turned to me, much to my surprise, and said, we don't think we can manage the South End site. Would Rady be interested in taking it on? And so that has resulted from that moment. It grew from a child care center that I think had 24 full-time, 24 part-time, to now serving over 200 kids. So that has been an amazing feat, and I hope has responded to the important need in our community. So we created not just one, but 3 programs: the Kaufman Child Care Center, the David and Ruth Asper Early Learning Center, and now the after-school program at Brockgordon. These programs follow the direction that the community set. And in doing so, these initiatives embody the values and mission that are at the core of the Rady JCC. And if we have been successful, it's that simple. That is why. There are many people behind the Rady JCC, including many visionary donors who believed in the Rady JCC and what we were trying to achieve. My heartfelt thanks go to Marjorie Blankstein, Nora Kaufman, David and Ruth Asper, whose names I hope I have honored every day. I'm equally grateful to Bob and Kathy Tallman for their long-standing support of our initiative to bring kids from families facing economic challenges to our day camp. Debbie Gray, Larry and Tova Vicker, Nora and Harry Warren, the Asper family and Asper Foundation, Ryan Downey, Brendan Rogers, Paul Weinstock, who remain steadfast supporters of the Rady JCC through our sport